Hi everybody, I'm Ximena and with Oscar Aguilera we going to talk about The Little Prince. Chapter 1. We are introduced to the narrator, a pilot, and his ideas about brand apps. In this chapter, the narrator plays his first drawing, which was not understood by the ground apps. Chapter 2. The narrator crashes in the desert and makes the acquaintance of the Little Prince. The narrator meets with the Little Prince and he asks him to draw a ship. Then he draws him a box. Chapter 3. The narrator learns more about from where the Little Prince came. In this chapter, the Little Prince began to establish conversation with the narrator and thus begin to learn more. Chapter 4. The narrator speculates as to which asteroid from which the Little Prince came. How was discovery of the asteroid B612? This was discovered of astronomy which was not accepted by the dresses. Chapter 5. We are warned as to be dangers of the baobabs. Talks about how the nature of the baobabs, and then the Little Prince asks without stopping. Chapter 6. The Little Prince and the narrator talk about sunset. In this chapter, the narrator understands the Little Prince's melancholy life. Chapter 7. The narrator learns about the circle of the Little Prince's life. In this chapter, the Little Prince asks to the narrator about the rose and fruits. Chapter 8. The rose arrived at the Little Prince's planet. In this chapter, the Little Prince found a flower and the flower said she was the only on the planet, and this false. Chapter 8. The Little Prince leaves his planet. In this chapter, the Little Prince feels unhappy about his flower. Chapter 10. The Little Prince visits the king. In chapter 10, the Little Prince visits the first planet and he saw a king. The king was preying on everything. Chapter 11. The Little Prince visits the constant man. In the chapter 11, the Little Prince saw a big man in the second planet. Chapter 12. The Little Prince visits the tripler. In the third planet, the Little Prince meet a confused drunken man. Chapter 13. The Little Prince visits the businessman. In the fourth planet, the Little Prince meets the businessman who he says on stars. Chapter 14. The Little Prince visits the lamplighter. In the fifth planet, the Little Prince deals a lamplighter. The lamplighter turns off and turns on the light, the only lamp on the planet.
Chapter 15. The Little Prince visits the geographer. The geographer says that he has a book where he can take all the planets and he has the property he can say what it goes and what he says that he can see. The chapter 16 says the narrator discusses the Earth lamplighters. The narrator says that approximately exists 2 million people in the world, which he has given the one lamplighter per person, which in each night they will turn it on. He noticed that only in 2 parts of the world they turn it on twice because they are lazy, and they just do it twice a year in the North and the South Pole. In chapter 17, the little prince made the acquaintance of the snake. The little prince, while he is in the desert, he found a snake. The snake says that he is in Africa, desert in Africa. When the little prince asked him for people, if he sent people before, and he says that he hadn't, but if he goes straight, he could find some. In the chapter 18, the little prince goes looking for a man and meets a flower. When he meets a flower, he asks him for people, and he says that probably he found some people in some meters later, but he thinks that they're not real. And in chapter 19, the little prince climbs a mountain ranch. In the mountain, when he climbs it all, he says that he can't believe that those mountains are bigger than the mountains that they have in his planet, because the smallest mountains and the biggest mountains that they have, it just came up to the knees. In the chapter 20, the little prince discovers a garden of roses, and then he starts to cry because he was thinking that the rose that he has on his planet lied to him, because it says that it is the only rose in the world, but it wasn't. In chapter 21, the little prince befriends with a fox. The fox, when he talked with the little prince, when he talked with the fox, he says that maybe he can domesticate the fox if he comes every day at every hour, at the same hour, and if he comes earlier, it could be that it means that the fox will be happier each day, and maybe he will domesticate it. In chapter 22, the little prince encounters a real switchman. In the chapter 23, the little prince encounters a merchant. With the merchant, he asks him what he sells and what he could buy there, but he couldn't find anything. In chapter 24, the narrator and the little prince thirsty and hunt for a well in the desert. In chapter 25, finding a well, the narrator and the little prince discuss his return to his planet. Then the little prince told him that then they will, he hoped to see him again. In chapter 26, the little prince converses with the snake. The little prince consults the narrator, and the little prince returned to his planet. The little prince returned to his planet by a star that comes away, and then the narrator feels alone, but he says that maybe he will see him again, and he will. And that chapter 27, the narrator's afterthoughts. The narrator thought that maybe it doesn't matter what year, he wants to see him again, and he wants to be with the little prince again. Thank you.